Michigan International Speedway welcomes the top-tier racing C&W Electrical Truck Series for Week 10, the final race of the regular season. For those drivers not locked into the playoffs, this is the last chance qualifier. 9 guys are locked in, 3 open spots remain to decide your field of 12 for the playoffs. Will we see someone who's on the outside looking in shock the field and take the win to secure one of the final spots? Or will it come down to a pure battle of strategy and track position for those precious playoff positions? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua King, and once again, this is your countdown to green. In tonight's pre-race show, we are going to talk to 2 drivers sitting in 2 very different positions going into tonight's race. One of them is the number 10 of Aaron Brown. He's already locked himself in. He's on easy street. He currently sits second in the overall point standings coming into tonight. The other, the 59 of Jim Thorndike. He comes in as the 12th place driver right on that cut line. Talk about pressure. We're going to talk to both of them, and those conversations will be coming to you shortly. Right now, let's take a look at the track details for this evening's race, and we'll get that up on the screen momentarily. Potentially small issue here. Maybe. Working on those technical difficulties. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. As you can see, Michigan International Raceway, as I mentioned before, it is a 2-mile long track. Means we're going to go for 75 laps this evening. Once again, 80% fuel, 4 sets of tires. No fast repair this race. That was a choice made by the admins after last race issues. Green flag stages at 25% and 50%. That would be, I believe, lap 18 and lap 27. We'll try to keep you updated on what's going on there and where the field sits when that happens. That's points to the top 5. That could be significant for guys like Jim Thorndike. Temperature's 97 degrees Fahrenheit. We're just over 1,000 feet in elevation. We're in Brooklyn, Michigan, of course. High humidity 71%. Pretty windy 16% or 16 miles per hour. 71 degrees for the overall temperature. That is the track temperature at 97 once again. So let's get out of here, see where we're at for the practice time so far. You'll notice a little bit of a change to our tower here. The drivers highlighted in green are the playoff drivers. So they are locked in. That will be something that we will bring to you each and every playoff race, so you can follow your favorite playoff driver and just how well they are doing. Let's go ahead and get Mr. Thorndike in here. Talk to him. Once again, as I mentioned, Jim Thorndike is in the 59 machine. He runs for Mid-Tier Racing. He's currently sitting 12th in overall points, right on that cut line. Jim, how you feeling about this evening? Good. That's good to hear. Of course, I know one of the guys battling for that final position, your team owner, in fact, he's not going to be able, or no, you're Cutco Motorsports. Why am I thinking mid-tier? Disregard. But anyway, Jeremy Gill will not make the race this evening, so that gives you a little bit of a load off. He's a couple positions behind you. What's What's your strategy going into this evening? That's fair. I'm sure you're aware of it. The guy right behind you is J.D. Van Kirk. He is 1 point behind you. So if that gives you any insight, it's literally going to come down to one position potentially between the two of you. Hopefully we'll get to see you guys racing it out there together on the track. What's your overall feeling on this season in comparison to last? Well, either way, Jim, you're hanging in there. You made playoffs last season. You went all the way down to the round of 7. And now you're right on the edge of making the playoffs again. That has to feel good. One more race this evening to lock it in, and then you can go out there and try for some checkered flag dubs. I have to believe, by the way the racing has been, in most races, if you stay clean, you're probably going to finish well in the top 10. You're always up there competing. Anyone you'd like to shout out this evening before we let you go get some practice in? Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Look forward to hopefully hearing from you after the race. Hopefully we can pull you in and let you know that you had made it. Apparently we are almost silent on Discord again, so we'll have to check that out. But thank you for joining us, sir. Hopefully people will at least be able to hear the interview. We'll work on getting that straightened out. Good luck to you tonight.
Thank you, sir, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple hours.
Yes, sir. All right, folks, so once again, that was Jim Thorndike. I apologize for the sound issues there. I don't know quite what's going on with Discord. We did some tests a couple nights ago, and everything was working well. So I'm not sure what we got going on there. Aaron says, good now. So did you, Aaron, talk to me there. Did you hear half of Jim's interview, or did you hear him at all and just me? Sorry about this, folks. This is something we did not intend on dealing with. Once again, we went through the steps to get it figured out. Maybe we figured out what we got going on there. Interesting. Let's see if we can get Aaron Brown in here, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a test before we get going. If I can find him. There he is right there. Aaron, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right. I mentioned before that you were running second in points right now. You're basically on easy street. I'm assuming that probably changes the approach coming into this evening. Kind of go out there and just try to win the thing, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be on the goal. Hopefully go out there and get the win. But I mean, regular season championship is in reach. It's going to be tough. 13 points behind Latham. Just a lot of restart issues last week. I just could not get that out of my head. I kept cutting, so I got a little bit of points penalty for restart violations. But that definitely hurt me. But I don't think I will be able to get them. I mean, 13 points back, it's definitely a possibility. But we're gonna try our best at it. Most of all, try and just go get the win, run as much as best we can, and already advanced. So just have to focus on to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be happy with the way the season is went. For those of you that may not know, Aaron runs in the college iRacing series. Did I get that right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And last race was at Michigan. It's a little older track, the older version here though. So.
Yep, we got Legacy.
A little bit different, but I did do a couple laps. It was definitely a lot less grip, so it's gonna be really tough to cling on to it. But I think hopefully we can get that previous experience from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. So since you race in that, throughout the course of the season, there's been some conflicting dates with that and this running the same time. Still to be sitting second in the season and locked into the playoffs at this point, I mean, that has to make you happy, I would assume.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, makes it a lot easier, but it's definitely not easy, especially I thought I was going to miss a couple of races, but they changed the time on everyone, so I was able to easily make all these races, and that shows that change of time will easily let me make the championship race, because that's the last date of the season that will conflict. So hopefully, if we do make the championship, there might be issues there, but it's not a guarantee yet. I mean, playoffs are definitely going to be tough. Talladega, that can definitely be a toss-up. Charlotte goes bad, something happens bad at Charlotte. Also, and tonight will be a good test here because we moved the fast curve in, so I mean, we got to take it a little bit more carefully. Hopefully, looking at the racing a little bit better compared all around, though. So I think we can have a really good race tonight, though.
Cool. Well, best of luck to you, Aaron. I appreciate you joining us. Anyone you'd like to shout out or talk about before we let you go?
Oh yeah, I gotta thank my teammates over at Adria. Chris is here tonight. Adrian, Brady. I don't know if he's in here yet, but he'll be here probably. I also thank our sponsors there, Forklift Media, Forklift.net, and AdriaEsports.net as well. So.
Right on, man. Like to shout out that truck. That's a good-looking truck. I like the bright colors along with the black. It goes well.
Thank you. Our painter did a good job on it. I really love it. So hopefully see it out in the Roto Pro season later this year, or next year too.
Yes, sir. Maybe now. Get yourself some playoff points.
Yep. Thank you.
Sounds good. Aaron, thank you for joining us. Good luck this evening. Hopefully, maybe we'll talk to you once again after the race.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Folks, let me know in the chat how the sound was on that interview, please. Still trying to mess with the sound on Discord. On my side, it sounds great. I increased it for you guys through our program here. Still wondering what's going on with that. But anyway, we keep rolling here. As you can see as of right now, Aaron Brown does have the quick time so far, as you see him sitting there in the pits. Second quick, he's out on the track. That's the 70 of Dylan Canova. Just 400ths off. And he just took the quick time away as we watch it. In practice, of course, I'm assuming he'll be looking to duplicate that in qualifying, and we're just a couple minutes, probably seconds, 15 seconds away from qualifying. So we'll see where he can go there. Latham Joyner in the 3 truck is back with us this evening. Justin Waddell out there in the 33. He's one of those fighting for a playoff spot. He's got himself in good position in practice. We'll see what he can do in qualifying. Jim Thorndike, we talked to him just a little bit ago. Apologize to him and those of you watching if you were unable to hear him very well. But it's time for Top Tier Racing qualifying to set the field for this evening. See who we get out on track. Looks like Michael Weissman is on track, currently in the 74. Love the chrome numbers, the purple and black on that Coco E Motorsports Chevy. Christian Proctor's out there. He's in the Tide number 13, also with the chrome numbers. There's Waddell. We took a look at him just a bit ago. There's the boss man for Coco E Motorsports. That's Kenny Coco in the 11 truck. Love that paint scheme there. There's Drafty Beef back with us after not being able to join last week. He's in the Royalty Motorsports SM Racing Products Press Gas Haul Ass number 2 Chevy. Looking to get a win tonight and get into that final, or one of those final playoff spots. Aaron Brown might have had some trouble. There's Jorge Ledesma in the 44. Adrian Fernandez in the 243 4cloak.net Ford. Nick Raffini is out there in the 03 FedEx Toyota. Nobody to post a time just yet. Have to believe that's coming shortly. JD Van Kirk is out there in the 22. Still rolling with the throwback paint this evening. Weissman is the first one to put a time as we assumed, followed by Christian Proctor, who takes the early lead in qualifying, a 40.23. Jorge Ledesma Jr., good first lap. Shane King joins us this evening. He's in the Royalty Motorsports Mediocre Sim Racer 60. He sits third. Now we're getting a lot of times coming in. Nick Raffini just about a 10.5 off Christian Proctor. Michael Weissman improves his second lap. He goes back to the top of the board, quickly passed once again by Christian Proctor in the 13. 40.15 is the quick time so far from Christian Proctor. They went back and forth to see who got it. Let's see if anybody else can take the pole away from Christian Proctor. Latham Joyner, quick time. He's up at the top of the board, 40.15. It's by the thousandth, folks. It doesn't even show on the ticker. That's how close they were. He puts himself on the pole for now. Trying to find someone still out there running a lap. Shane King is done. Jim Thorndike still out there. He currently sits 11th now, 12th, just passed by Randy Schuler. Kenny Coco just moved up to 6th quick on the board, just outside of that top 5. JD Van Kirk is done. There's Jake Raven in the 37 Airx Chevy. See where he can put it on the board. He's usually very quick. This is his second lap, last lap of 40.78. Gonna have to pick it up from there. I have to imagine he will. As he crosses the line, where's Jake Raven go? 6th quick, just above Kenny Coco. Chris Pierce, quick time on the board, 40.11 for the 65 of Chris Pierce. Late qualifier, and he takes the pole away from Latham Joyner. He's going to put that Toyota on the front row. The inside of the front row. At that, there's Aaron Brown. We just talked to him. And looks like he's 5th quick. He's pulling it in. He was the last one on the track, folks. So they'll go into their drivers' meeting now and discuss some last-second things. Let's take this moment to thank a couple of our sponsors here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, they are in their warm-up period / drivers meeting period. Let's take this opportunity to take a look at the playoff standings as you see them up on your screen now. Latham Joyner, Aaron Brown, Jacob Wilson, Chris Pierce, Dylan Canova, Brady Floyd, Nick Raffini, Kenny Cucco, Adrian Fernandez, all locked in coming into this race. Where we want to focus our attention tonight, of course, other than the lead, is 10th through 15th. Unfortunately, Jeremy Gill will not make the show this evening. But Jake Raven, 43 points above the cut line. Rob Higgs, 40 points above the cut line. Of course, that could change if someone outside wins. But Jim Thorndike, we talked to him in the pre-race show here. He is right on that cut line. J.D. Van Kirk just 1 point behind him. Each position in this league is 2 points. That means that we could see these two drivers battle it out side by side for one playoff spot. And man, do I hope that happens so I can bring it to you. Jeremy Gill is, of course, once again not making the race, but Justin Waddell is only 9 points outside of that playoffs contention. He could run in the top 5 or even potentially a top 10, depending on what happens with his competition, and get into the playoffs. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring you tonight's starting grid. And on pole, it's the 65 of Chris Pierce. Late qualifier and just beat out Latham Joyner, who starts second on the outside. In row 2 is the 13 of Christian Proctor. 243 of Adrian Fernandez starts 4th. Aaron Brown starts 5th in the number 10. That's good for him. Running second currently. He's going to try to get a big win for playoff points this evening. Michael Weissman, good to see him joining us once again this evening. He's in the 74. In 7th is Dylan Canova. Jake Raven is in the 37. He qualified 8th. Kenny Cucco is in 11th. In the 11s, qualified 9. I apologize. Jacob Wilson is in the 51, starting 10th. That rounds out your top 10. Justin Waddell is in 11th. Nick Raffini starts 12th. As we keep going back here, Timothy Presley is in the L1. He starts 13th. Randy Schuler is in the 31, and he starts 14th. Jim Thorndike, 15th. Rob Higgs Jr., 16th. J.D. Van Kirk is in 17th. Marty White starts in 18th. Shane King in 19th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. in 20th. And that's all we got. 20 cars on the field, it looks like. So let's go back to Chris Pierce, who's going to lead us to green in the 65 as we are ready to go racing in the final race of the regular season for Top Tier Racing. This will be the one that sets the playoff field. Man, I am excited. 75 laps. We're about to get going. That iRacing.com pace car should dive down to pit road here any second, and we will see them kick it off. Looks like maybe not going. Oh, there he goes. Okay, late dive into it. But here they come to the start-finish line. Green flag drops, and they're off. The 3 of Latham Joyner had a great jump on the outside. The 65 will let him go, and Joyner will drop to the bottom line. Now, what to expect here, folks, is pretty close racing. This will work somewhat like a super speedway. Whoa, look out. 13 of Proctor was a little wiggly. They're 3 wide already on the inside. Goes Proctor. Nearly 4 wide for a second. Aaron Brown is down there. The 65's caught up in the middle. Everyone keeps it straight. Aaron Brown way below the line. 65 is still in the middle. We're watching the 65. He's dropping back, and looks like they got it figured out now as they go 3 wide behind him. Little more room given. Oh, look out, and a crash behind him. The 01 Timothy Presley. Looks like is where it started. Let's take a look at it here. We saw it happen live. Oh, Waddell got loose in front of him. And the trucks behind him just know where to go. Unfortunate, tough break, and Justin Waddell. Whoo, the pressure's on now. He's going to have to use his fast repair early. Just the same as Jim Thorndike. Oh, no. And much like early on in the race last week, someone has checked in the Heartbreak Hotel early, folks. Let's watch the 59. He went for a ride. Jeez, he was up on his side. Let's watch that one more time. Let's see if we can't get on board with the 59 of Thorndike. Rolling along, he's on the top line and just nowhere to go. That was Presley, I'm sorry. Take one more look at it from Thorndike's point of view. And you can see the 33 of Waddell get into him there. Thankfully for Thorndike, his truck came back around. He's already, there we see those guys coming down pit road for some damage repairs. We're working lap 4 here. And that makes the work even harder for Waddell and Thorndike now. But it will, if anything, make things interesting for those two. J.D. Van Kirk, meantime, as we take a look at him, feeling comfortable with that. Not that he wishes anything negative on his opponents and friends, but he can sit a little bit more comfortably now as he sits 14th. He'll restart there when we get back to green. No fast repair tonight. You're right, Brady. I'm sorry. 2 seasons of this, and the only race so far that we have had no fast repair. So that just compounds the issues. Justin Waddell going to be able to make it back out. That's good to see. Jim Thorndike still in the pits getting worked on. Luckily, I mean, even more important now that he didn't need a tow. But he will find himself some laps down. There's Waddell catching back up to the field. Presley's out of pit lane. Thank you for that reminder, Brady. I apologize. You get used to doing something and having it a certain way for so long. Now, obviously, this is only my second race in the broadcast booth, but been in the league as we see Timothy Presley trying to catch up to the field, almost spin her out. But he gets going again. Lights are off on the pace car. But you get to a point to where you're so used to something and then it changes. So I'm glad I was reminded about that early. But there's the 3 of Latham Joyner. He had a great jump on the initial start of the race and was able to get to the front, dip it down below Chris Pierce, who now has dropped to 6th. A lot of 3 wide racing up front early, as we saw there in front of the early crash. Rena, appreciate you joining. Let's take a look at the 37 of Jake Raven. Beautiful black and gold truck there as we see the pace car dip down. Latham Joyner will take us back to green, and he's off to a strong jump on the inside this time. But they'll reel him back in, just like they always do at these tracks that have a draft. Or should I say where the draft is more important. Adrian Fernandez is sitting second. Looks like Aaron Brown's going to take it 3 wide once again. Ooh, not a good camera angle there. That's a better one. No, he thought better of it. Maybe didn't have quite the run he thought. Falls back in line. Proctor is running the outside as Christian will attempt to get past both Fernandez and Weissman as Weissman takes it 3 wide now. He's going straight up the middle. They're close quarters. They hold it together though. And it looks like for the time being, Fernandez is going to be able to hold him up. But Weissman's coming back strong on the outside. He'll make the pass. Didn't need the 3 wide that time. Proctor will fall in line and look to stay in front of Fernandez now, who's going to give it a run on the inside temporarily. 51 is Jacob Wilson. He's on the outside of Fernandez now. Looks like he's going to try to get to the outside of Proctor. No! Proctor shuts him down. Weissman has jumped out to a good lead now in second place. As we see Christian Proctor now look to make a move on the inside of Weissman. They kind of single file out. Let's take a look at Jake Raven. He just passed the 03 of Nick Raffini for the 9th spot. Got shuffled back just a little bit there on the restart. But they settle in now. Rob Hicks Jr. there in that pink and purple 88. All good to go there. There's the 60 of Shane King. He's up 7 spots already to 12th. There's J.D. Van Kirk. He's our guy to watch. He's 1 spot out of the playoffs as of right now. If it finished, he'd be in. He would be in the show for the rest of the season, the playoffs. There's Randy Schuler in that purple and white 31. Marty White might make a move to his outside in that 69 machine, but no, not going to have a run to do it. Dylan Canova, excuse me, got a frog in my throat, in the 70. He's going to make a move to the inside of Marty White. Looks like he's going to be slowed down just a bit by the two guys in front of him, going too wide, but he's going to try to squeak it underneath the 22 of J.D. Van Kirk. Van Kirk knows he's there. He's going to give him plenty of room and basically just move up and out of the way. To me, that has to be more of a, hey, I'm running pretty good here. I'm sitting in playoffs right now. I don't want to get in trouble. He will complete that pass. Let's go back up here where Kenny Kuko is holding off Christian Proctor, and right behind one of his teammates, Michael Weissman. Proctor has the inside, but the outside has been fast. We are a mere 6 laps away from the stage as they cross the start, finish, and lead into turn 1 here. Latham Joyner just about a second lead on the 51 of Jacob Wilson. They're all single file through here all the way back to Nick Raffini. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Rob Higgs. Shane King is tracking him down though, so we'll keep an eye on that. Dylan Canova's already up to 13th. He made quick work of those guys. He made 3 passes in about a lap and a half, folks. Raffini is taking a look to the inside of Jake Raven. He'll get that done for 9th. And Jake Raven will slip just a couple spots back to 10th. He started 8th. Rob Higgs Jr. on the move. He started in 16th. He's up to 11th currently, and as we mentioned before, the 60 of Shane King is up 7 spots, but he's being tracked down by the 70 of Dylan Canova right now. Marty White has caught the 31 of Randy Schuler. This is your closest race on the speedway. Take a look at it now. Good laps being turned by the 69. But Randy Schuler not going to give it up easy. He's got a whole group of cars coming behind him. That's the 22 of J.D. Van Kirk and the 2 of Drafty Beef. But he continues to hold him off for right now. As you see on your tower there, the gap has been closed slightly by Jacob Wilson, but he's dealing with the 10 of Aaron Brown right now. We looked just a couple laps ago, and this was about a second lead for Latham Joyner over Wilson. And Latham might be glancing in his rear view mirror saying, keep battling each other, I'm okay with it, based off those times. Now Aaron Brown takes over second place, and we'll see if he can't make moves to track down the leader. We just started lap 16, which means we have 2 laps to go until our first stage break. Not break, our first stage. There's no caution for the stage. It's green flag caution. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. Get yourself together. It's green flag stages. Holy moly, you'd think that would be a tongue twister for me. The 10 has now started to gain on Joyner since he put Wilson in the rearview mirror. Now Weissman will take away the 3rd spot from Wilson as we have Kenny Kuko maybe going to make a move on the 51. This has to be something with tires, I'd imagine, as we see the 01 of Timothy Presley making his way back out after the damage. There's Latham Joyner. It has now got to about 0.7 of a second, but Brown is closing slightly. Don't think he's going to be able to close for the stage. But once again, both of these two already well locked in. In fact, they sit in points just like they sit in this race currently, first and second. Michael Weissman would like to come out and get himself a win. Place spoiler. As we see the 10 truck just a little bit loose, but no big deal there. Now Christian Proctor going to give him a run on the 51 of Wilson. Not going to do it. They are single file here. Adrian Fernandez back 4 spots now, and he started very well in that restart. There's Nick Raffini, and Dylan Canova is up to 10th now. As he looks maybe to the outside this time around, it looks like he will have the advantage. He's going to have a big run off the corner, and he will clear the 03 of Nick Raffini just like that. And there goes Dylan Canova. He's going to the front. Shane King, I wonder if he tapped the wall or something. He's back 3 spots from where we saw him before. Drafty Beef in the 2 is working on getting past his teammate of the 60 right now. Good racing right there. JD Van Kirk right behind them. Shane King's not going down without a fight. He says, Drafty, you got to earn it, bud. And Drafty indeed does earn it. He moves up to 14th. He's up 7. Good performance for the 2 truck right now. And I don't know what happened here, but Aaron Brown passed Latham Joyner. That happened in a hurry, folks. I apologize. Last time I looked, that was 0.6 of a second difference. Aaron Brown and Michael Weissman have given Joyner some competition here. And now Joyner goes back to the lead. Our top 5 for the stage was Latham Joyner, Aaron Brown, Michael Weissman, Christian Proctor, Chris Pierce, just like they line up now. Except Joyner did have the lead at the stage. Great racing here up front as the 10 goes low on Latham Joyner. Just a mere 5 laps ago, this was almost a second lead. Whoa, tight, and Aaron's loose on the inside. Keep it together, they're 3 wide almost. Weissman was loose. Great racing up front here as we approach lap 23. Nearly a third done already. Only 1 caution so far. We got our eyes on the front of the field right now. Aaron Brown, now Christian Proctor says, I want in on this. Now he dips low. They're 3 wide on the front stretch. They're going to go 3 wide. Goodyear to Goodyear into turn 1. Who's going to come out with the second place spot here? Oh, Weissman's loose, so is Brown. Again, they keep it together. Some amazing driving and saves going on right now between these guys. The 13 is still hanging tough. That's giving Chris Pierce a chance to get back in it. The 01 is on fresher tires. He's laps down, but why not earn a lap back the hard way? But he's got a bunch of guys to get around here. They're not going to make it easy, I promise that. They're still getting loose. Hold it together, Weissman. We got to take a look at the in-car cam of Michael Weissman because he has his hands full with this thing off the corners right now. Let's see if we can't get him off exit and just how much he might be fighting this truck. As you see the 65 of Chris Pierce to his inside there on the front stretch. The main issues seem to have been off of turn number 2, and we're getting ready to see that. And looked a little bit smoother there, maybe. Not sure, but Aaron Brown was also getting loose as we take a look at his Adra Esports in-car cam. In the number 10 Chevy. Looks like he's handling it pretty well. Let's go back to Weissman and see if we can't catch off the nose here as he runs up on the 01 of Timothy Presley's on the outside. Latham Joyner has since expanded his lead as we just see, oh, look out, the 10 is way loose. The 1 tapped the wall, Weissman tapped the wall. That's going to allow the 65 of Chris Pierce to get back around him. We joined the in-car cam just to see Weissman tap the wall there. Obviously that hurt his momentum. And Chris Pierce moves into the 4 spot. Aaron Brown right behind him though. I'm sorry, right in front of him. Working on Christian Proctor. Oh my gosh, he's so loose. Every time off of 2, these guys have been extremely loose, and Joyner figured out something, or maybe decided to just turn up the heat a little bit when he was saving tires. Because he's out to just over a second lead again on these guys. Some good racing here though, a little further back as that race for the top 5 kind of cools down just slightly. But this is Drafty Beef once again in the number 2. He's up 10 spots. He started 21st on the grid. Keep it off the wall, Drafty. He gets it off the wall. He's gonna lose a little momentum there and lose a position back to Nick Raffini, but he'll be back. No doubt about that. He has that SM Racing Products Chevy rolling right now. Adrian Fernandez is fighting with the 70 of Dylan Canova right now. This is for 6th and 7th currently. The 74 is still muscling that thing as we see the 70 dive to the inside. He's going to fancy a chance going into turn number 3. Looks like he will get it fairly easily. He had a big run on the 243. Now Fernandez is coming back at him. He might dive to the inside. He will. They're going back and forth here for 6th and 7th place. Some strong racing from the whole field. We had an early caution, and you have to believe that probably made a lot of these guys nervous, as Jacob Wilson now is going to go to the inside of the 243. Jacob Wilson in that revved up Racing 51. Now Fernandez will try to do the same thing he did to Canova temporarily. Not going to give up the positions easily, which no reason he should. Just because he's locked in doesn't mean he can't move up in spots or come out here and get himself a win on the evening. He's definitely in a spot he could do it. Out of our top 7, we have 6 playoff drivers. 6 out of the top 7. That shows how strong this field has been. As now we see a lot of takers on pit road. Weissman elects to stay out. He'll lead a lap. I have to believe he'll be not far behind him. Basically everybody in now, as you can see, as the tower kind of cycles through. A lot of guys are a lap down right now, and as quick as Latham Joyner is, he's not that quick, okay? He hasn't lapped basically all the field by lap 32 on a 2-mile track. It's just a matter of the pit cycles as we take a look at Jake Raven here on track, who pitted on lap 30. Now we see the rest of the field in as Weissman, as I guessed, comes in. That's going to cycle Kenny Kuko to the lead as soon as he gets around. I would assume he will. He pitted on lap 26. We have now had our second stage. I was so wrapped up in the fantastic racing that I didn't shout out who the top 5 was, but once again, the only one that might mean anything to was Christian Proctor. Weissman has missed too many races. Proctor, if he comes out with stage points and finishes well, I mean, I guess you never know what could happen. He's got to have a win in his mind to make the playoffs. I think realistically a win is the only thing that would get him in. Wendy Brooks says, go Jacob Wilson in the 51. Clouded, welcome back, thank you. Says go Raven. A lot of Jake Raven fans in here, as always. As pit cycles go through, we take a look at the 11 of Kenny Kuko. Leading the race currently due to the pit cycles. Latham Joyner pitted just a couple 5 laps after him, as he's already chasing him down merely half a second lead and closing fast on the 11. Aaron Brown sits 3rd. Christian Proctor, as I mentioned, sits 4th. He could benefit the most from a win this evening out of our guys in the top 8 at least right now. Dylan Canova sits 5th. He won last week. That was his second win of the season. Chris Pierce is running 6th. Adrian Fernandez is 7th. The 51 of Jacob Wilson runs 8th. And then we have some more non-playoff drivers with the 88 of Rob Higgs and the number 10 of Jake Raven. They could very well be playoff drivers, but they are not locked in to the playoffs, so anything can happen. We've already seen, unfortunately, Jim Thorndike have early issues with Justin Waddell. That took the pressure off J.D. Vankirk, I have to believe, unless someone surprises and moves above all of them. Michael Weissman currently in 11th. There's the 60 of Shane King, still racing hard with the 2 of Drafty Beef. Matthew Everard is who that is in the 2, and he gets past Shane King. They both pitted on lap 28. So I have to believe we will see another pit stop here, I'd imagine, due to the tires. Now, good group here. J.D. Vankirk looking to work his way through all of them. That wouldn't hurt his playoff chances, as looks like he's trying to find room to potentially make a move on the 60. But he did pit a couple laps prior. We'll see if that has an impact. Not sure. They're 3 wide. Look out. The 31 is on the inside temporarily. Backs it down. Randy Schuler is going to hold on to the position for now. Hey, Jeremy Gill is in the chat, folks. Once again, Jeremy Gill was in contention to make this race even more interesting for that final playoff spot, but had other engagements that were more important. Once again, this is always fun to come out and race, and it is a commitment, but there are other things that are more important in life. So, Jeremy, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining. But right now, Randy Schuler fends off all takers, and he will sit 14th right now. Jake Raven, everyone pretty spread out right now. Aaron Brown, though, is once again closing. We saw this early in the first run, though. Once the first caution had cleared and we got a lot of great green flag racing, Brown was able to chase down Joyner. But then all of a sudden, it was as if Joyner went into another gear, no pun intended. But then, we looked away for a couple laps to watch some great racing through the field, and Joyner had expanded his lead to over a second all of a sudden. As you can see, Joyner just in front there in the 3 truck. Gives you a decent idea of distance there to one another. Let's take a look at our blimp cam. That gives you a good shot of it. And there are no other trucks battling for position in that view. Up until right there, we see the 70 of Dylan Canova come in the shot there. The truck you saw right in front of these guys was this guy, the 33 of Justin Waddell, who unfortunately for him was wrapped up in that early caution, got loose and went in front of the field, caused problems for all sorts of guys. 2 playoff guys also, unfortunately. But Justin's still out there hanging in, because you never know what can happen. Yeah, Jeremy, I agree, man. I heard about the company Christmas party. It was mandatory. Yeah. If I knew I was getting a bonus at my Christmas party, I'd go too, mandatory or not. But I do believe that you probably bring your A game this evening and make it into the playoffs. But nonetheless, here we are, and let's take a look here at a truck we haven't seen yet, having a clean run. That's the 19 of Kelly Akron. We got the 55 of Dan Ames. There's Marty White. We talked about him briefly earlier. Drafty Beef and Nick Raffini. This is your best race on the speedway, as Raffini dives to the inside to try to make the pass for 12th. Drafty Beef is having just an unbelievable run right now. He's up 9 spots, and he's holding on to it right now over Ruffini, who is a potential playoff driver as well. But Drafty Beef gets the move done. Folks, we're going to step away just for a couple moments here as we hear a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. More exciting racing is yet to come. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. While we were gone, the 3 of Latham Joyner got just a little bit loose, and it allows the 10 of Aaron Brown to close the gap as he goes to the inside and tries to take the lead. Is he going to be able to clear him? I think maybe. No, Joyner fights back on the outside. Is this another case of Joyner kind of just trying to save tires? And will he turn it into another gear, or is Aaron Brown making the move? Oh, look out, they get close as the 10 gets loose. That's going to allow Joyner to go back inside. They're side by side, and they'll drag race down the front stretch for the lead. It looks like for now Latham Joyner's going to take it back. Aaron Brown might get a good run here. Joyner goes low to hold it off. Now Brown to the outside. Oh, Joyner up top, and Brown cuts it back in. He's going to have another move on him here. Great racing for the lead right now. Clouded, what's the highlighted green mean? That means that's a driver that's already locked into playoffs. So what we really want to watch is those drivers that aren't. If they make a move to try to win this thing, I was hoping for some late drama between the 22 of J.D. Van Kirk, the 33 of Justin Waddell, and the 59 of Jim Thorndike, but I don't think that's going to happen due to the early caution. But this battle for the lead is by far the best racing right now. As they go back and forth, it seems like every corner, one goes low, the other fights back on the outside. 3 truck has the lead for now. Brown will get a run. Is the lap truck going to play a factor? It looks like he might. They split him. Oh, he goes low. Little bit of an issue there, but could have been a lot worse, and Dan Ames did a great job. Got to believe he might have been communicating with them to find out where he wanted to be, or where they wanted him to be, as now we see Kenny Kucko come into the pits. Oh no, and big move, or big mistake there. Potentially missed his pit box. This is a scheduled stop, folks. He pitted last on lap 26 before now, and we have 24 to go, so he split it basically in thirds. Could be some strategy there. Drafty Beef saw just past Rob Higgs not too long ago for 11th. As you see the 88 of Rob Higgs Jr. there, just a little bit in the back of, or the bottom of your screen, I'm sorry. But this race continues to stay close. This is the 3 of Latham Joyner and the 10 of Aaron Brown. This is for the lead. I will bring you good racing elsewhere if it is there. And right now, looks like Jorge Ledesma is going to make a move on Shane King. The 59 red, white, and blue machine of Jim Thorndike is not a factor for position. Still out giving it everything he's got with potential playoffs. Jorge Ledesma Jr., nice move there on Shane King. Shane King has elected to bring it into pit road. Weissman is down as well, pitting a little bit earlier than before. That is absolutely potential strategy to flip the field here. As we see the 10 once again battle back. Can he hold it on the low side? He's a little bit loose, and they got trucks in front of him. They're going to dive low around the 01 and 33. They both make it. Good moves by those guys to get around those 2 lap trucks. And good driving by the 2 lap trucks to hold it steady. But that did allow the 10 to make a little bit of ground up, but now Joyner's down pit road, so it doesn't matter anyways. Right now, that'll score the 10 as your leader. Jacob Wilson also in for tires and fuel. That puts the 70 of Dylan Canova in second place right now. Christian Proctor is in the 13 as Kenny Kuko comes by him, but again, not for position. Kuko just got off pit road on lap 50. So 5 laps ago, he's got fresh tires there. There's the 03 of Nick Raffini. He's up 6 spots. Drafty Beef is up 14 spots right now. Now, I know that factors in the pit cycle, but regardless, he's having a heck of a run. And how amazing would it be for him to be able to get a win this evening, get into the playoffs? He runs 5th. I'd have to believe we'll see him down pit road here soon, along with the 88 of Rob Higgs Jr. and the 22 of J.D. Van Kirk. Jorge Ledesma Jr. on a similar cycle as them. Marty White, same thing. He has to be coming down anytime. And there's Joyner, who pitted on 54, lap 54. 2 laps ago, basically, as we're inside 20 to go now. Jacob Wilson, Adrian Fernandez, they pitted on 55. And here come all the guys I just talked about. Rob Higgs, J.D. Van Kirk, Marty White down pit lane. All scheduled stops. Christian Proctor brings it in. He's already off. He'll get back out there. Aaron Brown continues to lead for now. How much time is he willing to give up to Latham Joyner before he pits? I have to believe he's banking and praying for a caution right now to potentially be able to pit under yellow conditions as opposed to green flag conditions. Only time will tell. Nick Raffini still yet to pit. Jorge Ledesma Jr. yet to pit. But Latham Joyner in the 3 is chasing them down in a hurry. Once again, how much time? Nick Raffini's coming down right now. How much time is Aaron Brown going to give up before he decides to pit? Chris Pierce pitted on 55. Fernandez 55. They move in to just outside the top 5 now. Kenny Kuko is the first car lap down. He is hoping that he can catch all these guys, as he pitted on lap 50. Of course, I gotta believe he'd be all right with a caution right now, because he'd be the lucky dog, and he just got back on the lead lap, actually, as Aaron Brown just went down pit road, as did Dylan Canova. Once again, that's going to turn your race lead over to the 3 truck of Latham Joyner as he goes to the inside of the 60 of Shane King. He hasn't passed these guys yet, as he's coming around right now to the start finish, and he'll take over the lead right there. Ledesma's in now. Good run for him. Latham Joyner back to the lead. Aaron Brown comes out in second. Dylan Canova in third. Adrian Fernandez will take third, as will Kenny Cucco. And Chris Pierce will pass the 70 for now. Canova with the 5-lap newer tires, that might become a factor late in the race. We'll see. But with the pit cycle complete now, that leaves 13 trucks on the lead lap. All the way down to Nick Raffini. Shane King is the first car a lap down, trying to hold off the 31 of Randy Schuler, as looks like Schuler will complete that pass. So now Randy Schuler takes over the potential lucky dog position if there were to be a late caution. There's your leader once again. Christian Proctor is close to the 51 of Jacob Wilson. Looks like he's going to move on him for the 7 spot here. We'll go low. We've seen the track develop a little bit over the course of this race. At first, the top line was getting good enough runs to fight back very strong on exit, and as we see the 51 exit there, he did get a run, but not enough to completely come back on the 13 of Proctor. So the inside lane, clearly the faster lane right now, as now the 13 will set his sights on the 11 of Kenny Cucco. And based off what we've seen with the track development, I have to believe it's going to go the same way. The 11 will get a run, but not enough to battle back necessarily on the 13. And that is exactly what happened. So the 13 will take over the 6th spot now from Kenny Cucco. Maybe a lap, or the tire difference coming into play there. 6 laps tire difference between those two drivers is now the 51. Oh, and we have a caution. Drafty Beef will luck out, I believe. Oh no, he won't luck out. He was the one that just crashed. Oh no. Let's take a look at it here. See what happened to the 2 of Drafty Beef. Such a great race tonight. Oh, terrible neck code. My goodness. Holy smokes. Let's look back at that, but from a different view maybe. The chase cam, we're going to see just how bad of net code this is, folks. Woo! And I said it last week, and I'll say it again. The worst place to be is to be right hooked. That's the worst type of accident, because you go straight up into the wall like what we saw there with Drafty, and with no fast repair, unfortunately, I believe that's going to end his night after a very, very great race. Michael Weissman also looks like had an incident under caution. Let's see what happened to him. Interesting. Not sure what happened there. He didn't crash. Maybe he just passed a few guys under caution. I'm not sure. But anyway, we go back to live action here as we see most of the leaders on pit road. Chris Pierce is in, Joyner, Proctor, Fernandez, Brown, Weissman. Joyner wins the race off pit road. But one of those guys we mentioned earlier that I said has to have his sights set on a win is this guy right here. Where'd he go? Blinking a little bit. Rob Higgs Jr. According to our tower and my information, being that he didn't pit, he's going to be our leader. He's scored our leader with less than 10 to go. Now, these guys will have newer tires, but I don't want to put anything into the universe here. But cautions breed cautions. We have one guy that's going to be in front of the field after these other guys get a wave around, I'd imagine, with older tires in front of 12 guys that have new tires. We're going to see what happens here as they're not quite lined up. This is the one to go. The lights are off on the pace car as you see everyone getting the wave around. The free pass recipient, I believe, was this guy, the 44 of Jorge Ledesma Jr., who is now on the lead lap. Of course, there were quite a few wave arounds, so Shane King is also on the lead lap. All these guys that had fell a lap down during that green flag run decided not to pit and now get their lap back since they were in front of the field. So good news for those guys. Now they can maybe hope for another caution. Maybe they come in and get new tires and make it real interesting down the stretch here. But nonetheless, as they line them up 2 by 2 for what might be our final restart of the regular season in Top Tier Racing Season 2, C&W Electrical Series Truck Series. As the pace car peels off, Rob Higgs Jr. gets ready to take us back to green. As he gets a good jump on the 3 car of Latham Joyner, but that's not going to be a factor at this track like it might be at some others. They'll reel him back in fairly quickly, especially with 10-lap newer tires. But Rob Higgs right now in control, and here they come on the outside. Latham Joyner followed by Aaron Brown, Dylan Canova. They're all going to freight train past the 88. But he does have the inside. Didn't much matter. But Aaron Brown took the opportunity to take the lead from Joyner now. As we see last week's winner, Dylan Canova, put himself in a position to potentially win. This is a great race here, trying to find a camera that might be the best one for our finish. Let's take a look at Canova there. Latham Joyner, good picture of Joyner there. Let's see. Not sure, guys, what our camera shot's gonna be. Maybe that one for the finish. We'll have the ticker up above. as we have 5 to go. Latham Joyner continues to lead. Oh, caution, and I called it. This is going to make things even more interesting as Justin Waddell, unfortunately, his second issue of the night. Let's see if he caused it. No, the 19. I don't know if he got loose or what, but let's go to the chase cam. And we want to focus on Kelly Akron. Let's see what happened. I just don't think he knew Waddell was there. That's what it looks like from my end. And let's go back live here. Let's see if any of these guys back here pit. Shane King would be the one to initiate it, I believe, or Jorge Ledesma Jr. Everyone else pit on lap 66, and here they come, like I figured. All those guys that weren't able to pit due to the wave around last time now get a chance here. Not a great shot there from the blimp. Thank you for that, blimp. But let's see, eight guys down pit road, Kenny Kucko being one of them, and J.D. Van Kirk as well. Now it's only a few laps. This is going to set up our second green-white checkered in a row, guys. We had a green-white checkered, and boy, was it ever exciting last week. This is going to put Kucko in 12th now, so we'll see what kind of moves he can make. He's comfortably in, so he doesn't need to win. We'll go back here to the tower and show you who just has a chance to pull off an amazing victory. And it would have to be first and foremost these two guys right here, the 13 of Christian Proctor and the 37 of Jake Raven. As you see, they are 5th and 6th. The two guys that are not locked into the playoffs right now, Kucko eMotorsports, they won't get any help from the guys in front of them. None of those guys are teammates. They want to win, but we got to watch the 37 and the 13 here on this restart. I believe they will be giving it everything they got to get up there and get this win in the closing laps. And right now Latham Joyner has to be thinking not again, because he was doing very well last race until all chaos broke loose in the green-white checkered portion of the race. And Dylan Canova, who happens to sit on his outside, picked up the win. Latham Joyner's looking for redemption, as is Aaron Brown, who had a win secured last week, I have to believe. If you didn't catch last week's race, I strongly suggest you go back and watch that one. Set yourself up for this one as we get ready to watch the iRacing.com pace car dive down pit road, and there it goes, and Latham Joyner will lead us back to green for our green-white checkered finish. Look out, he spun the tires, caused a checkup, but he's on his way now. He got a good jump. Canova did not. He's going to get cycled back to maybe 4th or 5th or 6th. Jake Raven is in 4th place. Can he do it? Let's go to this one so we can see the finish from the front. Jake Raven has to be thinking, I got to give it everything I got to secure myself in and get those playoff points. We're coming to the white flag. It's going to be final. The next lap will be the checkered flag. Who's going to take the win? As we take a look at Latham Joyner still holding off the 10 of Aaron Brown and the 51 of Jacob Wilson. Jake Raven, I don't think he's going to have enough, but this will help him lock in regardless. The 10 going to get a one more shot here on the 3 car. They come off the corner and they come down to the start-finish line, and Latham Joyner's going to get the win. Another exciting finish. This one less chaotic. Latham Joyner out of Hopkinsville gets the win. Aaron Brown finished 2nd. Let's bring up our race results for you here. After another good race in the top tier H&W Electrical Truck Series. H&W. H&W? I feel like I said C&W earlier. Holy moly. H&W Electrical Truck Series. I apologize to Anthony Hutchinson and to H&W Electrical, but our field finished like this. In 24th, I don't believe, in 24th, I apologize, he did take the grid, is the 83 of Tyler Moeller. Jim Thorndike, unfortunately, will have his playoff hopes dashed in the 59 as he finished 23rd with early trouble. The 2 of Drafty Beef finished 22nd. The 01 of Timothy Presley brings home 21st. 33 of Justin Waddell, also looking unlikely to make the playoffs with his couple issues he was involved in. He is 20th. Kelly Akron finishes 19th in the 19th truck. Dan Ames finishes 18th. Dylan Canova was 17th. Shane King in the 60 brings home 16th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. finishes 15th. J.D. Van Kirk finishes 14th and more than likely did enough to get into the playoffs this evening. We'll try to speak with him in the post-race show. Rob Higgs Jr. gets 13th. Marty White gets 12th. Nick Raffini brought home 11th. And now into your top 10, Randy Schuler in the 31 is 10th. Michael Weissman brings home 9th. Adrian Fernandez in the 243 finishes 8th. Kenny Kuko, another strong finish after his second place finish last week, brings home the 7th spot tonight in the 11 Kuko eMotorsports vehicle. And up to your top 5, if it'll work for me. There we go. Chris Pierce finishes just outside the top 5 in the 65. Jacob Wilson rounds out your top 5 in 5th. Jake Raven, phenomenal race for him. The 37 of Jake Raven finishes 4th. Christian Proctor, another strong finish. And guys, this is someone to look out for going into season 3. He's missed a couple races this season, but he will be competitive next year. Aaron Brown in the 2 falls just short of his victory We talked to him in the pre-race show, and he mentioned how he wanted a win tonight, and he got ever so close. He led some laps, but picking up the win is the 3 truck of Latham Joyner for State Tuned Esports in that 3 Chevrolet. Congrats, Latham Joyner. We're going to have a word with Latham Joyner, Aaron Brown, and Christian Proctor, as well as hopefully J.D. Van Kirk this evening, and see how he feels about his race and his season, and more than likely made playoffs. But first, let's try to get a word from one of our sponsors here, and we will be right back with your Top Tier H&W Electrical Truck Series post-race show. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Quick message from Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel. We're going to speak with the 22 of J.D. Van Kirk, who came in tonight's race just 1 point behind potentially making the playoffs. I know he probably wanted to get in a different way, but nonetheless, he performed. His competitors had issues. JD, welcome in. It's Joshua.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, so we were just talking about the situation with the playoffs. I have to believe that you're probably pretty happy that you're going to make it.
Oh, for sure. I don't like it making it this way. I'd rather race him to get the spot, but unfortunately, I've been in the same spot. It's racing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it happened early and with no fast repair due to some of the quality of the racing in times this season. That move was made. I think overall probably a good move, even though maybe a couple people aren't feeling that way right now. But this is your second straight season now in the first 2 that you're going to the playoffs, so congrats on that. What was your strategy going into this evening, knowing you were just 1 point out?
Just keep the nose clean and finish the race. That was the whole goal for the whole night.
Yeah, I have to believe that's probably what everyone was probably thinking. I'm still getting messages saying the Discord volume is low. I don't understand why that is. 1 second here, JD. I want to try to figure that out, not only for you, but for everybody else watching. Maybe that'll help. I'm not sure.
For some reason my mic's been low all race, so I don't know.
Well, it's not just you. We had these issues before, and we're having them tonight. So I'm not 100% sure. That's the one kink that we got to work out in the broadcast first couple weeks. But now that you have yourself in the playoffs, what's your mindset going into the next couple weeks as you try to make that next round?
Well, we got a couple of tracks that I really like. I really enjoy racing at Charlotte. There's always really good racing there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just going to try and keep the rubber side down and see how far forward I can make it.
Sounds good to me. I mean, got to stay clean. That's part of it. Consistent finishes, right? We were both in the exact same situation last season. We were actually battling each other for, I think, the final spot for like the round of 7 last season, but ultimately consistently and cleanliness plays a big part. JD, before I let you go celebrate this one, anyone you want to shout out this evening?
Just everybody that puts up with me doing all this silly stuff. And everybody that puts on this this whole series, you guys for doing the broadcast. I appreciate all of you.
Of course, and we appreciate you. For those of you that don't know, JD is one of the admins here at Top Tier Racing. So when we say that it couldn't be done without him, that is 100% true. So JD, we appreciate you. Go celebrate.
All right, thank you. You too.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 22 of JD Van Kirk, who just got into the playoffs. So good to speak with him. Next, we're going to have our third place finisher, Christian Proctor, join us here. Christian, this is Joshua up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, all right. So apparently we figured out the volume last week when you joined us. Watching it back, we couldn't hear. All sorts of trouble with Discord or OBS, whatever it is. Who knows? But anyway, Christian, you're back in the broadcast booth once again, this time for a podium. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You finished exactly where you qualified. So
yeah,
going into it, probably pretty excited about potentially competing for a win like you did, right?
Yeah, I was going in. My mentality was just like, man, I have to win to make the playoffs because I'm so far down the playoffs. I had horrible runs all season, always getting caught up in wrecks or whatever. And I qualified third, and I was like, man, I might have a chance at this. And throughout the night, it just I was kind of staying up there, top 5, top 10-ish kind of. And I was like, I don't know if I got it. And once that last yellow came out, I got a little excited there. And I don't know, man. I had an amazing run out of 4 there. And honestly, if who was it, 37? If Jake and Jacob didn't get into each other, come to the line a little bit, I don't think I would have gotten third.
Hey, well, you did. That's all that matters. I know Jake Raven and Jacob Wilson were both fighting hard, especially Raven. He wasn't locked in, right? So what better way to close out the regular season than on a win? But Christian, I put everybody on notice that's in our chat that you missed some races this season, but if you come back for season 3, you're going to be someone to contend with these top guys. Every race you've run, you've been competing. I'm assuming you're coming back for season 3, right?
So I had already made plans.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know, and I hate it's also on Tuesdays. I made plans to start a league, and it's starting to get up there, and it's starting in January. It's gonna be on Tuesdays, and I hate that it's gonna be the same nights as this, because I love racing this league and all those guys. It's great racing. I'm on a great team right now. I hate that I had started this league kind of, but it's something I love. It's going to be like first season is going to be next gen on road course. Our first race is going to be at the Charlotte street course. So
okay.
Yeah,
well, folks, you heard it here first. Breaking news on Royalty Racing Network: Christian Proctor will not be back for season 3, unfortunately. But you got to move on, do what you need to do. That sounds like a lot of fun over there, and that just opens the door for someone else to elevate their game and be able to, maybe step into a playoff spot and top 5 positions.
Yeah, beginning of the season, I had gotten new pedals like halfway through, and I was getting used to them, and then there was a couple races I was having issues with them, so it was issue after issue, and a couple races I didn't make because of the cut line, and it was rough season, but had a lot of fun so far.
I'm glad you've joined us and you've had some success. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to shout out or thank this evening?
I want to thank Jeremy, Rob, Marty, JD, the whole mid-tier team. We're just a great group of guys. Love racing with them, and hopefully we'll get back racing with them soon.
For sure, Christian. Well, go enjoy this podium and a good season. Obviously, it's not over yet. We got plenty of races left, I would not be surprised if you get yourself a win in the remaining races, but you have yourself a good evening.
You too, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Once again, that was Christian Proctor. He finished third. We're gonna get Aaron Brown back up in here now. We spoke with Aaron in the pre-race show, and we were talking about how a win would just finish this regular season better than anything. You'd get playoff points, and hopefully we'd be talking to him again. We are talking to him again, but he didn't get a win. But, Aaron, you finished second. That's as close as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, second. It's the story of the entire season so far. We've been second a lot of times, but overall, it's a good race. It was definitely a really fun race with Latham there. Really would have been great to see how that long run played out there. I don't know if I would have got him or not, but the caution came out, and I messed up on the restart there. I didn't know there was a restart zone. I pushed Latham, and then he had Gil on the brakes, and ended up causing Dylan to get a penalty there late. So that was my bad to Dylan there. I had no idea the restart zone was on because Rob went early the last time. But overall, it was a very, very good race. It was a fun race with Latham and everything. But solid finish. Got second again. Didn't really pick up any extra playoff points, but overall solid race, and we'll focus on Charlotte.
Yeah, now it's on to the playoffs, so every race means just a little bit more, right? Every win gives you playoff points to the next round. They cut drivers every time. As long as you stay clean, I don't think that will be an issue for you, but awesome race tonight. One thing I wanted to ask you about, Aaron, we at one point were watching you, Michael Weissman, Chris Pierce, Jacob Wilson, all you guys were kind of close together, and we saw a lot of squirrely action out of the trucks, and we took some onboard cams to see just what you guys were dealing with there behind the wheel. Were the trucks loose all night, or was it kind of just pushing a little extra hard, or a tire factor?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It was definitely dirty air. Also, packing air on your bumper, that definitely gets you loose as well. Also, just mistakes and hard racing. I mean, we're all racing hard together. Everyone's running different lanes, and Latham, he talked to me about it too. I mean, we were battling. It's kind of you can be faster on the bottom, but when you get on the bottom, it's really tough to kind of get down there. You kind of really slower from the top, and it's kind of tough to pass on the bottom. So you kind of got to do it on the top, but then if you get it clear on the bottom, you get loose down there, and it's definitely a lot looser there in 1 and 2 compared to 3 and 4. But you get pretty loose there. But yeah, I mean, we're all just packing air, racing, making mistakes. I mean, I made so many mistakes trying to do that. I just got to push myself. I just pushing off in turn 2, trying to get clear, and just couldn't do it. I got too loose. But yeah, it was definitely a lack of grip. It was definitely, I think, if it was Michigan, probably a little bit more grip and been a little bit more of a pack race, as you would say, because it spread out after that pretty much, really quickly after that, especially when it came around pit stops.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was definitely fun. It was definitely fun, especially for the grip, finding grip around even the lane, and yeah, that was definitely fun.
Yeah, it was a good race this evening. Aaron, go enjoy this one. But like you say, you're going to be getting ready for Charlotte next week, and that should be a really, really fun race. First race of the playoffs, and a track that basically anyone would have a chance to get up there and win. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I gotta thank my teammates, Chris. Well, Brady he wasn't in the race, but he was in support in the Discord, so it's definitely have fun having him. Adrian as well. All great. We all work together, push each other, communicated our strategies really well. Gotta thank our sponsors over from Atra, Fourcook Media, Fourcook.net, and Adria Esports at adriaesports.com. So that was all fun. Gotta thank the admins for putting on the league, so we can all come out here and do it love. Gotta thank the viewers for tuning in, and you, most of all, you for the broadcast.
Appreciate that, sir. Go enjoy this one. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Yes, sir. Once again, folks, that was the 10 car of Aaron Brown, who finished second tonight, and we talked to him in the pre-race show, second in points as well. This will keep him there. Let's go down and grab our winner of tonight's race. He came into tonight's race leading the group. First place in points, first place in playoff drivers, and he wins once again. Latham Joyner, congratulations on the win, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We talked to you last week about the way that went with the green-white checkered, and then was there some of that same fear and thought process in your mind this week when another green-white checkered was set up?
Not really, and I didn't have a fear going into the green-white checker last week because I was sitting about 6th, so I was on the aggression. And then, of course, when I got to the lead, obviously he was upset that we had a green-white checkered and he lost his lead, and all that went down and how it did. I was honestly not even that mad because if you remember from the week before at Nashville, I kind of roughed them up. He roughed me back. I called that square pretty much for me.
Sure.
Obviously, the league saw it different, which I agree with because I did not spin them out. He spun me out. But for us, it was square. But obviously, in the league's eyes, it's a little bit different, which I do agree with. But no, me and Aaron, I think raced pretty clean our race. I think we put on a good show there towards the end. He would kind of run me down, and we were side by side. And I was pinching, so he couldn't get by me. I'd pull a little bit of a gap. I hope that was pretty good towards the end of those runs. And then obviously I pulled strategy during the green flag run, and it was going to be him gaining on me. I had about a 10-second lead with about 12 to go, him gaining about 7 to 8 tenths a lap. So it would have been very, very close. I think that would have been also pretty cool to see who would have won that way. But obviously I think this was a pretty good show too. Obviously the restart didn't end up clean there at the end, but still pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were putting on a heck of a show there down the stretch. We were, with pit cycles, it allowed everything to kind of spread apart a little bit, which allowed me to really focus on you guys going back and forth every single lap, every single corner, basically. One thing I wanted to ask you about, in my opinion, from here, we kind of saw the track develop in a way that at the beginning, that top line was so strong that you could get such a good run off of it and then battle back on the outside. As the race went on, it looked like that bottom line became a little bit more prominent, and the guys on the outside wouldn't get that run. Is that the case, or was it just a little bit too hard to handle out there? What's the situation there?
So certainly at the beginning when everybody's jumbled up, you can definitely run the top because obviously it gives you some more clean air because everybody's kind of fighting for the bottom, what you would think would be faster because that's where we qualify. When everybody's jumbled up like that, you can get the runs and stuff. Whenever you start single filing, obviously, then it becomes like you just try to run qualifying lap after qualifying lap. Obviously, save some tires in there as well. But the bottom becomes better kind of when you're by yourself. But like whenever me or Aaron would get out front, we would kind of fight for the top because you could not get by somebody on the bottom. So the top actually was more there the whole race, and it actually got, I would say, a little bit stronger in that middle. Just about a 1 lane off the bottom was the best line you wanted to be in. There towards the end, I was 2 tenths faster than I had been all race. Those, like, with the caution with 10 to go when we restarted, we were running 39.7 instead of like 40 O's pretty much. So that line became better and better.
Yeah, that's what we saw as well. And at one point early in the race, there was about a second gap between you and the pack behind you. We went kind of through the field and took a look at some other good racing. A lot of good racing tonight throughout the whole field. But then all of a sudden, Aaron Brown caught you. And we missed basically him closing the gap. All of a sudden, 5 laps later, now you went out to over a second lead. Was that just kind of like managing tires and then they reeled you back in and you decided to open it up again, or what happened there, if you remember?
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, racing to lap 18 for the first stage, obviously I tried to go as hard as I could. Of course, they started catching me about lap 16. They got to me. Aaron almost cleared me. We raced side by side for about 3 laps, and I think I just got to wear out his right rear by holding him down a little bit more. He had a moment, and that got me about 7 tenths, and then I just think I wore out his right rear enough to where we kind of stabilized. On them longer runs, when you're out of the gas a whole lot out front, it helps to be kind of second or third with the draft. It'll kind of suck you up to the car in front, even with you being out of the gas more. So really, it just like he had better tires when he caught me. When we got to racing, his tires degraded a little bit more than mine, and that was able to where I got back out in about a second lead there before we all pitted, of course.
Yeah, and then the pit cycle started. That was really cool. Like I said, some awesome racing. This is probably one of the best races, not just cleanliness-wise, but one of the best races I've seen or been a part of all season as far as the overall quality of racing. But once again, Latham, you're first place going into playoffs now. You're sitting in good spot. You pick up another win this evening, some precious playoff points going forward. So now you set your sights on Charlotte. What's your strategy now? Not just keeping the lead, but making sure that you just stay consistent enough to get into each round going forward.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, just like NASCAR in real life, you kind of just don't want to wreck. If you're fast all season, it kind of helps pay off these first couple rounds. Obviously, the later rounds, it gets more aggressive, and you kind of have to go back out there and do what you've been doing all season. Charlotte, obviously, just thinking about that, save tires. The top on later runs, especially through 3 and 4, will be dominant. Obviously, you just can't get tight and knock down the wall off of turn 4 there. Obviously, I think I can run top 3 there. I do think Aaron will be very, very, very fast there because that's just kind of a normal cookie cutter track, and he's very good at those. Obviously, this one's a little bit bigger, but you run it just about the same way. And obviously, draft will be a big factor there, I think, for about the first 7 or 8 laps as well, kind of like here. And then hopefully, with no fast repairs, the way this league's going is getting better and better every week. We put on a good show, go green. The cream rises to the top. We have good shows in the front. We have good battles in the middle, and even towards the back, we have good battles hopefully going on for everybody.
Oh yeah, that's why I say. I mean, this one was definitely by far probably the best one from the front all the way through the back as far as the battles and the racing. It was very, very nice. So hopefully you'll watch the broadcast back and enjoy it yourself. But before I let you go, enjoy this win. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out this evening?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to thank Josh Evans Racing for helping me with real life, and obviously he's on my car here in the race, Leak Cuts by Josh Evans. Also want to thank Rapid Race Cars for everything they do for me, and also Excalibur Racing Engines. And also Kenny Kuko for obviously being on his team this season. It's obviously helped out a lot. Kind of carried him a little bit, but obviously trying to help out all of them get a little bit faster. Jim had an unfortunate, lap 1 incident, but shout out to all of them for, keeping me, talking to me, wishing me the best of luck, and also talking strategy throughout the whole race.
Right on, man. Well, congrats again on the win. Go enjoy it, celebrate a little bit, and then we'll see you back here or back next week at Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good night. Once again, folks, that was our winner, Latham Joyner. He gets another win, 5 more playoff points to go in the bank. And we start playoffs next week. Whew, I'm excited. This one lived up to all the hype. The unfortunate part was a couple of big players that could have gotten into the playoffs had early trouble. But it was great. J.D. Van Kirk should get in there. As we mentioned, we interviewed him just a little bit earlier. We have the King's Pit Pass podcast coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to take a short break, get that all squared away, and then we'll be right back here on Royalty Racing Network. With that, we're going to cover a little bit of the racing this evening, the results, playoffs coming up, and our expectations for Charlotte, as well as the great debate. Is iRacing a sim or a game? We'll be taking all your comments, questions, concerns, and maybe even emotional outbursts in the chat for our podcast so we can read those and have kind of a debate not only between us on the mic, but a debate between you guys possibly. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're glad to be back. We've went through different things that have kept us off the air recently, but we're back in action. For Royalty Racing Network, Kenny Kuko, J.D. Van Kirk, Drafty Beef, Top Tier Racing, H&W Electrical, and the Truck Series, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, watching the broadcast, cheering on your favorite drivers, joining us, and racing. We'll be back here, like I mentioned, at Charlotte next week. If I don't see you on the podcast, you have yourself a happy and healthy week, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you.